Welcome to this Brainfluence Brief. I'm Roger Dooley. Imagine this scenario. You are in the White House, in the Oval Office, with the President of the United States behind his desk and members of the media opposite him. Well, Trey Gowdy is a former U.S. Congressman and author of the new book, Doesn't Hurt to Ask. His book explains the persuasive power of questions. When Gowdy found himself in this exact situation and was asked for his opinions on fairness, completeness, and bias in the media, he didn't do what you or I might do. So, one of the great stories of the book, Trey, was how you unexpectedly ended up in the Oval Office with President Trump and some members of the media, and you were asked your opinion. Now, I am probably that's a fantasy that a lot of us would have. Or, wow, okay, I'm there with the president. I'm there with these people in the media. They ask me my opinion. Man, I am going to tell them exactly what I think. I'll never get an opportunity like this again. But you didn't do that, right?
No, I did not do that. And you're exactly right. The temptation is to say, well, I'm so glad you asked. I think, I believe, or worse for me, I don't like sentences that begin, I feel, but sometimes people do begin it. But I want to convince folks, I believe in the power of questions enough that when I am sitting in between at that point, the President of the United States and members of the media, and they were having an animated, shall we say, animated conversation about fundamental fairness and media standards, I turned and asked a question to the members of the media. And it wasn't, it wasn't a provocative, accusatory question. It was one that they had to answer the way that I wanted them to answer. And again, I write in the book, you have to have an objective before you open your mouth. If you don't have an objective that you can explain to yourself, what is your goal with the next thing you're about to say? My goal was to have them say, you know what? It is impossible to be fair without being complete. Being accurate and being fair are two different things. It was accurate to say that the president mentioned Alabama was going to be impacted by a hurricane. There's no question that was accurate. It just wasn't fair because he mentioned a handful of other states and you left those out. And in a courtroom, if you're ever, or really in life, if you're perceived as excluding information, as being afraid of information, of denying the existence of a fact, the jury will judge you very harshly for that.
I hope you've enjoyed this Brainfluence Brief. The full conversation is available on video at YouTube and in audio at all the normal podcast outlets like Apple, Spotify, and Google. Head over to rogerdooley.com/podcast for a text version and links to resources for this episode.